Good morning and welcome to the July 7th, Monday, July 7th press conference. Sorry we're a little bit late getting on. I took my computer for a meeting last week at the end of the week at home and should have known to get it back here sooner. A little technical difficulty, but we're back up, so we appreciate that. COVID-19, there are now 7,000 positive cases in Escambia County, 6,236 are residents. The latest update from the state shows a 10.5% positivity test rate for July 25th. More importantly, the COVID numbers for hospitalizations are at 237. This is obviously down from the high at the middle of last week of 246. But we were also at hospitalizations of 236 on July 25th, and on July 24th we were at 226. So we did see a little bit of a dip. We'd like to keep it under control. At least we haven't seen anything significantly rising since the middle of last week. So we continue to monitor that, and we continue to look and see what's going on. I know from most of you, when I'm out there, I see you're wearing your mask, and I appreciate that. I think if we continue to do that, again, washing our hands, wearing our mask, and social distancing appropriately, we can make a dent, and it's showing right now. Our hospitalizations are stabilizing, and we're hoping to push those down. So we just need to keep working at that and keep doing what we're doing. We really need to get back under 100. If we could do that, then at some point in that time frame, we could talk about where we go from there. But wearing our masks are important right now to get us down, get those numbers down, try to get us ready to go for many of the things we've got ready to happen over the next couple of months. So we just need to stay vigilant on that and continue to do what we need to do. A couple of things out there. On midweek last week, we sent a letter to the Escambia County to talk about CARES money with a plan for the city's portion. We were certainly told by the state and the federal government that cities would be included in that, although we're still waiting to figure out how. We sent a letter right now to Senators Rubio and Scott, asking them to look at ways for municipalities to be supported in the CARES Act. We put together a plan of ours, have submitted it to the county, and we'll certainly have that here online that we can show you our own plan of what we've got. Very much mirrors sort of what the county does, but clearly shows it within the position of the city and making sure that city businesses, city residents have those opportunities for those funds. And certainly we were included in that, and we felt that we should be allocated that. So we sent that to the county on Wednesday, and asking senators as well for that portion. So again, we continue to keep working with that. Face masks. We have distributed our current supply of face masks at our community centers after making approximately 20,000 masks available. Masks are no longer available at Sanders Beach, Cobb, and Gull Point Resource Centers. An announcement will be made if the masks are restocked. Again, that's one of the things we are looking for, that CARES money that is with the county, that we would be able to purchase more masks and have them available for you, our public. We certainly put out 20,000 masks, and we appreciate you picking them up and having them ready to use. So that's very important, and we certainly appreciate that. And we're looking to have more, certainly depending that CARES Act funding. So face mask, we have, a resident survey. We sent a reminder out of our annual resident satisfaction survey is underway. City residents are asked to complete the survey online at uwf.edu/HOS resident survey, or by phone at 850-495-2666, 850-495-2666 by August 9th. We certainly appreciate that. The latest mayor's neighborhood cleanup collected over 58 tons of bulk waste for disposal, along with 145 tires and 640 gallons of paint. The cleanup program allows residents to clean up areas, to leave eligible items at the curb on cleanup day to be picked up by sanitation services. The next cleanup is scheduled for Saturday, August 29th, and that will be my neighborhood. I will be looking to participate in that. So we'll have certainly stuff out on the street as well. Learn more at cityofpensacola.com so you can prepare and be ready. FDEP Grant, the City of Pensacola has been selected to receive $75,000 grant reward from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for the city's Resilient Coastlines program. Through the program, the city and regional partners are pursuing an aggressive and overreaching climate planning objective to address underlying climate change threats. This grant scope of work advances 4 key tasks that include identifying coastal risk from sea level rise, linking coastal risk to FEMA's community rating system program, developing a technical basis to plan for future sea level rise, and communicating future sea level rise risks to the public. Thank you to the Assistant Planning Director, Cynthia Cannon, and City Administrator Keith Wilkins for pursuing this grant for the city. Stay tuned for updates on the project as it moves forward. Also, finally, last week I was very proud to participate in the Pensacola firefighter promotions. I had an opportunity to attend the ceremony to promote our newest Pensacola fire cadets to professional firefighters. Despite COVID-19 related delays in their fire academy training, our fire cadets persisted, completing their academy and Pensacola Fire Department's new firefighter training program. Congratulations to our newest firefighters, firefighter John Dingle, firefighter Darian Elsie, firefighter Nathan English, firefighter Davion Finkley, and firefighter Tristan Snow. So all of those gentlemen, I had a chance to meet them the other day and see them and congratulate them and swear them in. It was a great ceremony that Fire Chief Jenny Craner did. She did a great job of that at Fire Station 1. So it was really great to be a part of that and just see our new fire cadets coming into the service. That's kind of all I was planning to talk about. If you have things, questions you have from the press, we'll be happy to answer those questions. Casey, what do we have?
So we have a couple of questions, but no names attached to them, so I'm not sure who they're from. But the first question is, if you get the CARES funding, how would it be spent?
We kind of mirrored the same thing the county has done. We put in some of it into human services spending, some of it into economic recovery, some of it to taking care of our own buildings and first responders, and then some of it just dealing with our own financial needs here, things that we've spent here as well. But certainly things like masks, other things that we've done, I think you would clearly see that in helping. We think that there's an opportunity for us to work with the county on I think we talked about it some yesterday, some programs that we'd like to do for homelessness that will come out of the human services side. We'd love to get assistance to our businesses, those that have had to remain closed during this time, and have financial assistance to them. So again, that's kind of what we have it broken down into. We can get that, Casey. We can have that back on the letter I sent the county, and our details that we indicated. We can have that back on there on our website.
Has the pandemic caused layoffs? If so, how many and which departments?
We have not laid off. I mean, the only thing that we've dealt with is temporary laborers. We have our temporary services. We obviously haven't needed some of our things in Parks and Rec and some of the other things that we haven't typically. We needed to hire on new services. So I mean, we haven't let anybody go, but I certainly think there's some temporary stuff that we didn't hire this year that's allowed us to save some things. Where we have some challenges, we know in budgeting where we'll be. The good news is a lot of our funding that basically funds our salaries has been stabilized. The challenge that we've had is things like LOST funding that we'll see that in projects is the bigger impact that we've had. Our bigger impacts have been things like the airport. Obviously, that's a self-contained fund, and they received CARES Act funding to take care of the things that they're doing. Surprisingly, things like the port have been doing well, and so it's interesting. We've had some things that have been very challenging, some things that have done very well. We're continuing to manage like everybody else, and just trying to provide what we can and watch and shoot. Amy and her staff have done an incredible job with budget, because we're putting together a budget, but we're shooting at a number we don't know where we're exactly going to be. We have no idea. We see things improving economically, but we know we're not where we would be in a normal July. So to tell you where we exactly are, we have a feel, but we don't have an exact position, and so we're kind of shooting for a target out there that we don't know. But we have plans, we have contingency plans should things happen, and even should the worst happen, that we fall short enough. We've got a plan that they've put us on, and we've been able to do things. We again, we didn't hire some of the people we needed in temporary services, but we haven't really had to let anybody go. Our first thing I committed to when we got started on this is we're going to make a commitment to our staff, who are the most important people we have here at the City of Pensacola, our 800 men and women that work for us. We made a commitment to them that we're going to find a way to make sure they have something to do, and that we're here. It may be different, and they've been willing to work with us. And I really appreciate their flexibility. They've done an incredible job throughout this process. We haven't missed a beat on what we're supposed to be doing. We had some slowdowns in sanitation, but they've obviously done an incredible job and get that picked back up. All our other things are moving along, and we're going to continue to keep doing what we need to do to make sure we can provide the services we need to. So that hopefully that answers your question.
And this is from Jeremy at In Weekly. Have you had any further communication with county officials, commissioners, or admin regarding the city's mask request?
Again, I mean, I just hear what I've heard, at least anecdotally through the press, that they are considering that. I mean, I think it's one of those things. I've been very clear here and at other places where I've been online that, you know, we talk with the healthcare officials, and everything they continue to tell us is if we could do that in our MSA area, which is the 2-county area, we could really make a significant dent in both our numbers, our positivity rate, and even our hospitalizations. You know, the good news I've seen, at least, typically if you make a decision like this, it takes time for it to take effect, just because, you know, people who have the virus or catch it today, if you made a decision, they won't show up positive for a little over a week. It'd probably be a little over 2 weeks before they started where they needed to go to the hospital. So you see a significant delay in policy decisions. I think it's it's kind of our indicator was we saw things going really rapidly, and about after we get 2 weeks after the mask decision, we saw at least the increase in hospitalizations start to abate. And then obviously, as we said last week, we've actually flatlined and gone down. So you know, as we analyze, I think masks are showing that they are making an impact. I think more people are wearing them. I talked to Don today on Don Parker on his radio show, and he admitted, he said, golly, he said over the last couple of weeks, I've seen so many people wearing masks. We've seen it pick up dramatically, even in the county. So I think the fact that it's happening in the county, I think, is giving county commissioners hopefully some ability to see they do have an ability to make a difference, and in taking the action they do. I think we all have the ability to lead. I don't think we need to depend on the governor of the state or the federal government. I think we can lead in Northwest Florida at local level. I believe that's why we all ran for local office, so that we could lead. We need to take that action, not because we're looking to do anything necessarily political, but because the issue of what we're doing is protecting our citizens. Again, I could care less about elections or anything else. The concern we have is what's right for our community. And as I tried to talk today on the radio, we talked about how much opportunity we have here in the city. I mean, we've got great things potentially happening at the waterfront, all over where we're going. The county's got great opportunities. And I think as we come out of COVID and we see other cities that are going to see significant change in what they're doing, I think it's positions places like Pensacola in a great position to move forward and significantly improve as a community. And I think that's what we're going to do. But we've got to get over the COVID side. Our whole goal was not to become a hotspot. We've managed to. That didn't work out. We managed to have that happen to us, but at least at this point we can stop that, and we can have some traction over it. And certainly, I think the masks are showing that right now. I mean, I think what we're seeing in our hospitalization numbers, and seeing them begin to not increase at a level, and stabilize has been significant. I mean, that's been the biggest thing we've been tracking, and the most thing we're excited about. We'd love to see the numbers come down, but right now we're excited at least they're not increasing anymore. So from that standpoint, I think we, hopefully they'll get on board. We can make this 2-county, and we can begin to get past COVID, and then we can do some really great things for this community and our citizens.
This is from Jim at the News Journal. Have any fines been issued under the city's mask ordinance?
I don't know. I'll check with that. I'll check with Tommy. I've not heard Chief Leiter indicate anything to that effect. I know that we have gone to many businesses with Steve Richards and code enforcement, but every time we've gone there, they've generally complied and bought in and worked with us. So again, from that standpoint, I think we found ways to make it work, and we're excited, thinking that it's again, it's not a perfect plan, but at least it's moving forward, and we see people complying with it. And I see more people complying than not complying. I think that's a good thing for us to see, and that's probably why we've seen our hospitalization numbers kind of begin to flatline, and like I said, hopefully we're going to start getting a trend downward. If we can do that, we'll be in good position.
This is from Jeremy in Weekly. How much is the CARES funding allocation for the city?
Well, I believe there's going to be about $54 million for the county. We've asked for 18%, so I think it's roughly around $10 million. That's the state shared sales tax is at 18%. As our share at the City of Pensacola. So that's kind of what we've submitted. We've kind of made the position that, hey, we understand the first allotment. If the county already has that money allocated and knows what they're going to do with it, that's fine. We'll wait. We'll wait and get ours in the next 3 funding tranches. There are some other things we're looking at in there. Some of the challenges of spending it. You've got to get it spent by a certain time, and the things you could use it on. So we're trying to deal with some flexibility in those, but we do think overall there are some initiatives that we can work with. Like I said before, here at the city, staff has been working diligently on some of the things dealing with homelessness, and we believe for the first time we really have the funding opportunity. If we can work with the county to partner on that, we think we can make some real inroads that will create some long-term solutions. In addition to some of the short-term solutions we've been looking at from the city with no funding, but the long-term solutions are really going to help us. And so I think we can get on top of some of those things. I have no doubt. I know there are many businesses that are feeling challenged and having difficulties, financial assistance. We have that opportunity. We certainly have a number of things going on with assistance for utilities and other things. We certainly realize that with Pensacola Energy. So again, all these things are eligible uses. We want to get those things, be able to bring the money in and be able to know how to do that. We'd love to go out and buy some more masks for our citizens. We think all these things are good things that we can do. But we're going to need some funding to make that happen. And at this point, again, we were told that funding would come from the county, and what we've done. So we kind of put together a plan last week and shot it over to them on Wednesday. Signing the letter today with that we're sending to our senators to request. And again, this has happened all over cities, all over the United States. I know Congress is looking at some things and funding municipalities, so we've put some things in there that we're asking for. That's kind of where we stand at this particular time. It's a team effort. Last week I was on some things with Florida League of Cities. I've been very actively participating with them, looking forward to coming into leadership into the Northwest Florida League of Cities, and certainly appreciating the opportunity to become more of a leader there, and hopefully then at the state level in working with them and in dealing with some of this policy. So those are some of the things we're doing. I would say, I did just want to comment again, those of you who don't know the Northwest Florida League of Cities, I can't tell you what a large figure that PCWU is there. Like I said before, the award that is given every year for the real advocate for Northwest Florida is the PCWU award. PC is a legend at the Northwest Florida League, and that's difficult to be a legend when you're still active service. So he does an incredible job for us there, and I'm simply trying to follow in his footsteps and work with him to make Northwest Florida better, and of course, certainly over here, Pensacola and Scambia County.
And this is from Jeremy in Weekly as well. He just asked if there's an update on the Confederate monument lawsuit front.
At this point, it's too premature to discuss anything about the case. And so again, we are right now, our legal people are working with it. It would be great if the court system was open and we could meet, but it continues to be there, and I can't really say too much at this particular time. We continue to keep working it.
And this is from Jeremy also. We hear that Mike Hill provided your personal cell phone for people to call in regards to the Confederate monument. Have you received many calls on this subject?
I mean, I've received some calls, but I received mainly some calls, I guess, back before when this thing was before the vote. But again, you know, it is what it is. We'll keep moving forward. I'm happy to talk to people. Usually the best way to reach me, though, is via email. I try to return all my emails. I can't get to all my phone calls. Sometimes it's too difficult, the challenge that we get in the calls, but I'm happy to always email people back, talk with them, and we may not always be able to agree, but I'm willing to work and see what we can do to find agreement. We'll keep moving forward.
This is from John at Studio 850. The first meeting of the Urban Core CRA Community Board was last week. What are your thoughts on this, and do you see the other CRA districts creating citizen boards?
Certainly, you know, those are all things that we're looking at. I think the other two boards certainly have the opportunity. We'll continue to see how it plays out. We're willing to experiment. The challenge has been, you know, how to make these things work in the time of COVID. But I think very much what we wanted to do was see more citizen involvement. That's what we've been trying to create since I've come into office, and we've tried to push more of the decision and more of the opportunity to be a part of it to the citizens. There's no doubt that COVID has made this a little challenging, but I think we can get there. We're going to figure it out. And if we have patience, I think I think we'll see how this goes. And I expect it to be successful. And if it's successful, I expect it to do more with more of them. So we'll continue to keep working with it. I think these are good things. Whenever we can get our citizens more involved and active, it makes better decisions for us as a community. And we'll certainly be involved and see how much citizen involvement we can create. It's all a little lightning out here. Getting we had a great weekend, but it looks like it's going to get a little rainy again, like it was last week at Friday and so forth.
And this is from Jeremy at M Weekly. Any further city employees test positive?
You know, I have not heard. Both of our fire and our police are right now in grade stages. I've not heard. I know we had a couple people that tested positive, and we had people showing up at work, and we at least went really significantly hard and reminded people, if you're sick, if you think you're in any way, don't show up here. Don't come to work. Go get a test. We'll work with you. You know, again, as supervisors, we're all learning how to manage in COVID-19, and a lot of that means being a little flexible. But I think we're finally kind of getting it through to our employees not to show up at work, because that's the worst thing to do. If you end up having COVID, you show up at work, you can get more of your fellow employees sick, and that really could create problems. So we're not having that problem anymore. We still are having problems sometimes with spouses getting sick, and then potentially getting other city employees sick. But I don't think we're any different than anybody else is having the same challenges. I know I've talked with several of our large employers. I've talked with Gulf Power, Marlene DeSantis. I've talked to Keith Hoskins out at Navy Federal. As well as I'm staying in constant contact with our healthcare providers, our hospitals, which are three of our largest employers here. So they're all dealing with the same challenges that aren't any different than what the city's dealing with. But for the most part, we had some real increases, but reminding people not to come in if they feel sick, to go get a test and then wait until they get the results to figure out what to do. That seems to have at stop some of our potential cross contamination. We did have a few of those things. We finally had to just remind people. We said, we know how we appreciate how much you want to go to work and come in, and we know we've got work to get done, but please don't come in to work because you could get somebody else sick here. And I think I really appreciate Ted Kircher and all the team down there in HR really making sure that to get that information out. And I think we've seen over the last week or so, we've seen fewer people come in sick, which means we've had fewer people potentially contaminated, and that may be helping us in our numbers. Otherwise, I know we're just continuing to work through. We see people get off quarantine, get off, staying at home, coming back, and then we kind of, it seems like we do this. We get some people back, then we lose people, and we get them back. But overall, right now, I can't say enough about both Chief Craner and Chief Leiter, the phenomenal jobs they're doing at police and fire. Those are our two most critical, and they have been juggling. We went in the yellow for a little while. We're back both in the green. They've done an incredible job managing their team. The captains at the police department and our other assistant chiefs and battalion chiefs at the fire level have done an incredible job of juggling staffs and working to make it come together. Those teams have done incredible. Same thing with sanitation, recreation. All of our departments have had to juggle this in some way or another. And right now, I think we're coming through it okay. But we're all just sort of one day away from significantly losing a lot of people. So we know how it is. We just want to stay. We'll knock on wood and stay moving forward. That's what we're going to do.
This question's from Jeremy. Before I ask it, I will say that we'll be sending a press release out on this shortly, so it may answer some of his questions. But he just asked, can you elaborate on that FDEP grant? What will the city be doing with that exactly?
It sounds like we're going to be doing some planning related to sea level rise. These are things we've been working on. We know there are challenges. We continue to deal with stormwater. We know, sitting right here on a body of water on the Gulf of Mexico on Pensacola Bay, where we are subject to challenges with sea rise. So we need to be planning, and we are planning to figure out what's going on. We appreciate FDEP being a good partner with us, helping us with that, the state. Again, I think these are things that we're going to, we do this on a regular basis. This is what we do, but sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the stories that are more challenging, more combative, more controversial. Sometimes things get lost and you forget that we actually are working on these things. Cynthia, certainly, and Keith, Keith comes from this, working in the environmental areas for a long time. So, I think bringing on now our new sustainability coordinator, having some of these other things there, we're going to be focused on these parts. And again, it's not like we're going to quit focusing on them. I think these are going to be focuses at the city of Pensacola for probably the next 50 years. So, it's just what we're dealing with things happening with climate. And so I think you're going to see us, constantly directing staff resources and everything else to trying to solve things. But, the good news is, unlike a lot of our fellow cities in Florida, we do have elevation, so we do have opportunity to find ways to deal with this. So I again, these are all of these things. I think Pensacola has very positive things moving forward. We certainly have challenges, but I think for the most part we can get through the challenges we've got. We've just got to stick together and keep making those kind of decisions together.
And I don't see any new questions, so I think we can wrap up.
Thank you very much. We will see you. I'll be on, we'll have our Facebook Live on Wednesday, so I'll be there for that. And we'll continue to keep you updated with COVID, where we are with hospitalizations and what's happening. So thank you, and we'll look forward to seeing you later this week.